Hi everyone. This video is going to be a recap of a session I had done recently on generative AI. There will be 10 videos in this playlist. This video will cover an overview of all the available generative AI chat LLMs that we have already heard about or used in some or other way or for some or different tasks. We'll be starting with ChatGPT. Now, as you can see, I'm on the ChatGPT window right now. I have the paid version, but whatever example I show you, the same example can be done on the free version as well. On the left hand side, you have the panel where you can see all your chats. You can also have this Explore GPTs option that allows you to see a lot of custom GPTs. You can collapse this sidebar. When you click on this new chat icon, it opens a new chat for you. From here, you can choose whatever model you want to work with. There are some old models that are available here as well. You can also enable temporary chat, which would mean that whatever conversation you have will not be saved or retained. On the right hand side here, you have the settings panel. Now, since I have the paid version, I get this diamond icon. If you have the free version, it 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 might just show your name initials in a circle. So for example, if my name is Talha Parkar, it will show TP inside a circle. I can click on that and I can look at my different settings. Now in settings, I have something called as customize GPT that allows me to personalize ChatGPT for my own context. The shortcut to do that or open that is also called, or the shortcut you can use is Control Shift I. When you click on Customize GPT, it opens this small window here. You can also press Control Shift I to open that same window. This is essentially known as personalization, where you tell GPT something about who you are and how you would want it to respond to you, and it will help you or it will help tailor responses to your context. So for example, in my case, if I can just show you what I've written here, I'll just copy that. I'm not sure why it is not visible in that view, but I'll just copy and I'll show it to you here. Okay, so I'm just gonna paste it here and I hope it does not come in a single line. Okay, it's come in a single line. That's not very efficient. Let me just zoom in, or maybe if I zoom out, will that work? Okay, no, I am not able to show you together. Let me do one thing. Let me just stay at the same zoom level and let me just read it out to you. So I've told ChatGPT that I'm a data professional with expertise in analytics and data strategy. I work for a particular firm where I help clients optimize workflow, automate repetitive tasks, and derive actionable insights. Now, this is what I do. This is what my job or my role involves. So if you're a working professional, a teacher, a student, a professor, a, someone working in marketing, finance, whatever your role is, you specify your task, your role, your job to ChatGPT. Then the second part is what traits should ChatGPT have? So I've written that it should provide clear and structured responses, help me with facts, figures, and logic wherever possible, offer actionable solutions, and understand the user's needs and communicate in a supportive and approachable tone. Anything else? I have also specified to ChatGPT that I like to identify patterns in the questions or the data that I'm working with, derive insights, and if I go to advanced, I can see or I can set what all capabilities from ChatGPT would I want to use. So I would want web search. I would want DALI, which is for image creation. I have the code assistant here. I have Canvas and I have advanced voice mode, which you have on the mobile application as well. So this allows you to customize your GPT. This is called as personalization. Now, how do you do it? So a very quick example from a conversation that I have ready from the class here. So come back and 1 second. Let me just go to the right one. Okay. So I like to start with this prompt. So when I press Control Shift I need to put some text here, right? I need to put responses to these questions. So I don't write them on my own typically. What I do is I tell ChatGPT that I'll give you some information about myself. Then after I give you that information, I want you to help me generate answers to two questions. Then it said, please share the information about yourself and then let me know the questions you need help with. Then I gave it all the information about myself. This is what I've copied from my LinkedIn profile. Okay. So if you want, you can write on your own, you can copy from your LinkedIn profile, you can upload your resume, etc. And once I do all of that, then because I had instructed that I will require help with two questions or responses to two questions, it asks me, please go ahead and share the two questions you need help with. So I say, help me create answers for customizing ChatGPT. What do you do and what trades should ChatGPT have? So it tells me this is the response for the first question, this is the response for the second question. Again, this is not a generic response. This is based on the information that I had provided about myself here, which I had taken from my LinkedIn profile. All I need to now do is copy this. Here I would like to share a quick shortcut, which is Windows V, which allows you to see your clipboard, which is what are the last 10, 15, 20 things you've copied. So I'm just going to copy the first part. I'm going to copy the second part. I'm going to press Control Shift I, come back. Now in the first question, what do you do? Windows V again. I'm going to paste my first answer. I'm a consultant in analytics and so on and so forth. Then what trades should ChatGPT have? Windows V again. And I'm going to paste the second output there of what ChatGPT should do for me. And I think that is good for now. If I want a response to this question as well, if I hover here, it tells me what kind of things I would like. Again, these are very generic examples. So for example, I love hiking and jazz, I'm a vegetarian. These are default, prompt or default answers that you can put here. This will be visible to every user. But again, I don't want to put something random. So I'll take this question. I will come, sorry, I'm going to save whatever I've put so far. And I will come back here and I will say, help me with a response to this question as well, in addition to the earlier two questions. Send that by pressing enter. How I break a prompt into two different lines is by pressing shift enter. Right. So when I'm writing a prompt, I can press shift plus the enter key to break it into two lines. So I have the response from the first question here again. It's just given that to me again. And here is the response to the third question. I'm going to copy this, Control Shift I, come back and paste it here as well. And in advance, I would generally want to have all of these, so I'm going to press save. Now, once I've done that, what essentially happens is that if I open a new chat and I say, summarize what I do in 3 bullet points. Now, because I've put all that information into ChatGPT, ChatGPT exactly knows who I am, what I do, right? So I work with consulting, I do training and education, I help companies with reporting and insights. Now, if I were to go to incognito mode, because ChatGPT can also run without logging in, and here, as you can see, there is no login. I have not logged in yet. Tell me about myself in 3 bullet points. If I use that same prompt here, it'll say I don't have access to personal info unless you share it. But based on our conversation so far, I can make some fun guesses. So it's just giving me a generic response. But do you see, because in my chat GPT, I put those custom instructions, it remembers who I am. And that helps it to tailor responses better to my preference. Additionally, what you can also do in the settings is go to settings again. In personalization, so I've just showed you custom instructions. There is another feature called memory. Memory essentially means that from every chat that you have, ChatGPT will remember something so that it is able to tailor better responses to you and retain the context between different chats as well. You can always go to manage memories and look at the memories it has created for you from different chats. You can delete anything specific that you don't want, or you can clear all the memories if you always want to start afresh. Now, this is how you personalize ChatGPT. The same feature of personalization is available on different tools. So if I come to Claude and Claude.ai, Claude.ai, and if I go to my settings, which is right here, and settings, I will have a personalization here. Okay, so here we don't have 3 questions, we only have 1 question. So what's my full name? Let's say I put my full name. What should we call you? What best describes your area of work? And what kind of responses would you prefer? It's again in a beta version, but again, you can put in something specific. Now, if I want, I can write this on my own. I can allow ChatGPT to, maybe write this for me. I can do the same thing on Claude as well, but we'll not go into all those details now. But you can personalize this here as well. You can always click on Learn More to read more about how the personalization works in different tools. Again, how it works on ChatGPT will be different than how it works on Claude, then how it works on Gemini or Perplexity or DeepSeek or a different chat LLM. The best way of understanding how these tools work is to go through the documentation, read it, and then try to understand it, right? So it tells you how you can instruct ChatGPT with something specific, right? And you can go through this very brief documentation to get a better understanding. Similarly, on Gemini as well, if I come to settings, and actually not on settings, rather I think activity. No, 1 second. Let me just check where that option is. Custom instructions on Gemini. Okay, so it's called a new gem. So, like I said, on every tool, there's going to be slightly different. The interface obviously is going to be very different, not slightly different, but different tools can help you with different aspects. So, Gemini, it shows advanced. That's the new model that was recently released, which is 2.0 Flash. I can create a new gem, and here I can specify, that my name is, let's say, Talha, and what specific instructions do I want. So, this is what I'm instructing ChatGPT, and I can add some additional files if I want to, and I can save this and I can communicate with this particular gem. So I can have a gem or a custom chatbot for maybe online research, maybe Excel, generating Excel formulas, generating Python code, helping me create content for presentations, etc. Again, you can come to Perplexity, which is a different tool altogether, and I can go to settings here as well, which is right here. And in Perplexity, I'm not sure if we have the personalization bit, but let me just see. Okay, so you have personalized right here. Okay, when you click on that, right now it is showing sports and finance. Basically, I'm not sure when I created these, but if I click on the, if I just come to Google and go Perplexity AI personalize. So here you can see that you will have the official documentation. So how should you fill out the profile section of settings? So it helps you personalize your experience by setting preferences and instructions for the AI. What is your preferred formatting? What is your personal interest? What is your communication style? What is your goal? What is your language, location, any special conditions? So you can find all of that right here. So when I go to profile, not on personalize, rather on profile, it will ask me who I am, right? So I can introduce myself and it will know exactly who I am and what it can help me with. You can also connect your LinkedIn here, right? So this option is not available on ChatGPT or on Gemini, but it's there on Perplexity. Like I said, every tool will have something different. If I come back to account, I can change the language in which Perplexity responds in terms of the interface. This is the interface language. This is the answer language, right? And like memory, here you have a feature called AI data retention, which essentially means that whatever questions you ask, the model will use those questions and the responses generated from it to train itself. Additionally, remember that Perplexity does not have a model of its own. It uses Claude 3.5, GPT 4.0, and Sonar. Right, so that's about Perplexity. Similarly, you have DeepSeek, which is a new tool. Again, if I come back to my profile here at the bottom left corner, now the interface of DeepSeek is slightly similar to ChatGPT. I come to settings and in profile, okay, DeepSeek, because it's a new tool, I don't think it has personalized as of now. So there's only theme and language. I don't have anything else, right? I can do a quick Google search. So DeepSeek personalize profile. If I just do a quick search, okay, so there's no um, personalized feature on DeepSeek as of now, as we speak. Then we have NotebookLM, for example. Again, NotebookLM will not have any personalized feature as such because NotebookLM essentially works with whatever information you have uploaded. It will not respond outside the scope of this information. So there's no personalized feature. There is some basic settings that you can do, which is what kind of conversation style you would want. You can click on the settings icon here, configuration icon. Do I want it to respond like an analyst, like a guide, or if I want something custom, so I can put in the custom and instructions here of how I want it to respond, which is essentially referencing the conversational style. Additionally, I can specify the response length as well. So let's come to GPT now. I just showed you how you can personalize GPT, Control Shift I, so that it remembers who you are and what you do. I just put in my name as well, so that it remembers who I am. And I can also then ask it about myself and it will remember all that about me. Now, after you've done this, I want to show you the next example, which is writing good prompts. Okay. Now, there are two ways you can think about writing prompts. One is you can sit and identify what all should be included in the prompt, and then you can sit and construct the prompt on your own. What I like to do is I like to utilize GPT for writing prompts. So if I can just take you through the slides that I have on prompt writing, just give me a second and let me just find the right slide so that we're able to work with it. So again, for personalization, different screenshots are given here so that different tools can remember. You can always go back and reference that. Perfect. This is what I want to cover. So generally a prompt will have essentially 6 elements. You will have to describe the task, define the role in terms of who you are, or if you want the model to assume a role, specify context, which is provide relevant background information. Then we have the boundaries, which is set clear limits and scope for the task. And next we have requirements. How would you want the output to be? What structure would you want the output in? And there is reasoning, which is if you want an explanation of any aspect of how it has arrived on a particular response, you can ask it to give you the reasoning for that as well. So this is the 6 pillars of how a prompt should be constructed. Now, there are also a lot of prompt frameworks that you can rely on. Again, if you go to Google and just do a quick search on Google, which is prompt Gen AI prompt frameworks, you'll find hundreds of these. When you go to Google Images, you will find hundreds of these images, right? Different prompt frameworks, right? I just have one for reference here, which is this, which has essentially 5 types of different formats for different types of tasks that you would want to do. Now, I like to use this diagram to explain how a prompt can be broken down into 3 levels, a basic or a focused or a comprehensive prompt. The visual that I just showed you is for a comprehensive prompt, which has all the 6 pillars. A basic prompt would only have the task description and the context, which is what do I want you to do and why do I want you to do it or for what purpose. A focused prompt will have the task description, context, role, who I am, what I do, and how would I want the output to be structured. And the comprehensive prompt will have all the 6 elements this way. Now, writing prompts from scratch is also a time consuming task. Again, you should be good at it. You should learn how to do it. You should learn how to structure the prompts correctly. But you can also utilize generative AI for refining or writing these prompts. So, for example, here you can see that I am on a new chat. This is from an earlier example. I'm not rewriting it, I'm just showing it to you. So I specified that this is a bad prompt. Okay. I have a I have to create a presentation for an upcoming budget meeting where the board of directors will take decision on investments for the coming year. Help me refine this bad prompt into a refined or a detailed prompt. This is the prompt framework that I want to use. Task, action, goal. Only give me the refined prompt. So here what I'm doing essentially is that I'm not relying on my prompt or on my instructions that I was able to write, I am taking the help from ChatGPT to convert this into a more structured prompt or a more well defined or a well worded prompt. So it gives this to me: create a professional presentation outlining key budget allocation, projected returns, and investment opportunities. Now, although you might feel that the length is not very long from my original prompt to this new prompt, but terms like key budget allocations, projected returns, investment opportunities are not present in my prompt. Support board of directors in making informed investment decisions for the coming year. That's the goal. So it has categorized task, action, goal. Now, if I were to use this prompt to generate an output versus this prompt, the output will have a much better quality if I use this refined prompt. But I would like to show you another method of refining prompts, which is right here. So first I tell ChatGPT that I will give you a prompt. I want you to refine it for me in a specific prompt framework. Very important, right? If you want structured responses, have your prompts set or categorized in set specific set frameworks. I'll say do not generate a response to the prompt, only refine and make it detailed. This is more of a, if I come back to the note, this is more of boundary, okay? So I'm saying that, do only the above one, which is refine the prompt. Do not generate a response to the prompt. Will it generate the response to a prompt? Maybe, if I when I give it my prompt. But just to ensure that it does not, and it gives me only the new prompt, I have used this. So it tells me that you can share the prompt. If you have a specific framework in mind, like para, race, or crisp, you can let me know. If not, I'll choose one and structure it clearly for you. So I'm just giving it my prompt. I have not specified any framework. I could specify a framework from the ones that I have in my PowerPoint here, which is role, task, format, task, action, goal, or before, after, bridge, etc. Or I can just give it the prompt and it can structure it like this for me. So this was my original prompt. Okay, this is my original prompt, and this is my refined prompt. This entire thing, the one that I'm highlighting right now, becomes the prompt. Whatever I've highlighted so far, this entire thing is my new prompt. So do you see, when you put a single line and try to get an output versus this large prompt, obviously when you have this large prompt with set structures, these colons here, proper spacing, it allows you to get a much better quality output from ChatGPT, because the model will respond well when the prompt is of very good quality, and this is how you will do it. Now, whether you're working with Claude, whether you're working with, let me just go back to the chat, whether you're working with Claude or with Gemini or with Perplexity or with DeepSeek or with NotebookLM or any other tool for that matter, it is imperative that you know how to write good prompts. You can always specify everything that you want to do into the model and then ask it to refine it for you. In some cases, I also don't like to type out a lot. So on the Windows laptops, I can use this feature. So I can click inside my text or chat window here and press Windows plus H key. H is the H for home, Windows plus H key, and the Windows mic gets enabled. And I think I can just press it again. And I want you to help me create a structure for an upcoming workshop on generative AI for finance professionals. The workshop should focus on taking users from 0 to 1 on generative AI, as the users do not have any experience working with generative AI. The focus should be on identifying use cases within their areas of work and helping them implement generative AI into their workflow. I pressed Windows H again to close that. So a lot of times what happens is, when you're typing, you might not type with all the information, or you might miss out on certain things. But when you're speaking, you don't miss out on a lot of information because you speak everything that is in your mind. So I just spoke everything that I wanted to, and it got converted or transcribed, and now this becomes my prompt. So rather than typing, you can use Windows plus H key to do it. Again, this is not the voice mode on GPT. The voice mode is this, where I want your help with understanding how to create workshop outlines.
Creating a workshop outline involves a few key steps. First, define objectives. Start with clear goals. What should participants learn or achieve? Know your audience. Tailor the content to their knowledge level, interests, and needs. Structure your content. Break down the workshop into logical
So this
sections.
was the voice mode where I asked for a question and generates a response for me. Because I ended the conversation, it did not get saved. But if you continue the conversation, it gets transcribed into text. So whatever I speak, so rather than typing out the prompt, you're speaking to the model and the model is responding. You can always interrupt the model in between as well. This works very seamlessly on the website, on the Windows application, on the MacBook application, and on the mobile application as well. Now, ChatGPT can help you with a lot of different things. Some examples can be you want to create a custom Excel formula. So if you want to create a formula to generate financial year and financial quarter from your date, it can create that formula for you. If you want to refine prompts, which I just showed you, it can do it for you. I showed you two techniques of refining prompts. This one, which is not very effective, and the earlier one, which is the keyword is prompt framework. In the earlier one, you will see that I've just mentioned refine my prompt and I've specified a particular framework, right? So task, action, goal, and it's tried to do it for me. Here, because I did not specify what output I want or what framework I want, it decided on its own that it will use the crisp framework. And I think I have the outputs mentioned here as well. This is the output from a single line prompt, which is the original one that I had written, not a refined one. Then this is the output from the crisp prompt framework, right? So you have context, role, input, then you have steps, and then you have purpose, right? Again, right now you will see that the role mentioned here is I am instructing ChatGPT to act as an experienced financial analyst and a consultant skilled in creative creating executive level presentations. If I show you another example of the same one here, now here what I've done is I've taken that same crisp prompt framework. Okay, I've not made any change to that, but what I've done is I've added a line at the top. Act as a consultant from McKinsey with 10 years of experience in finance and strategy. So now visually you might not see a lot of difference in this output and the output from the earlier chat. But again, you'll have to trust me on this. You can read or try it on your own to get a better understanding. But when you specify that you wanted to act like a certain or adopt a certain role of a consultant from a consulting firm like McKinsey, BCG Bain, the response is very different. The response is much more tailored. The response is much more enhanced. So these are some tips, techniques that you can utilize when working with generative AI, right? Specifically when writing prompts, because that is the basis of how you communicate with these models, whether it is for text, whether it is for visuals, diagrams, etc. Now, what I would also like to show you is another feature on these models is that they can help you analyze or visuals or charts. So, for example, here on the new chat that I had done earlier, I had put a screenshot. Let me just show you the image. So I have the image right here. Okay, this is the image, right? So I had used this image. Let me just put that into ChatGPT again and show you. So I'm just going to take a screenshot of the image. It's from a McKinsey report. I can come back, expand. I can put the image. I can say explain in 3 bullet points. Now when I say just explain, I don't have control over how it will explain, what format, what structure it will use. So if I want a specific structure, I will have to explicitly mention that I need that structure. So I say explain in 3 bullet points, and it will explain it to me in 3 bullet points, right? So it talks about loan growth outpaces deposits, and it talks about rising loan to deposit ratio, which is also called LDR, and shift in loan and deposit composition. So whereas loans remain dominant, but mortgage loans increase their share from 21 to 1%. Again, you'll have to remember that with these models, you'll always have to validate the output. Now, I don't see a increase here. So let's come and look at the chart once. So if you look at mortgage here, 21 to 2030, right? Why it might have shown a growth is because the overall market or the overall forecast is growing, but the proportion of mortgage remains from 21 to 21 itself. So it grows there, 23, it becomes 25, 25, and then it takes a dip. So in terms of total loans, which is categorized into consumer finance, mortgage, and wholesale loans, mortgage loans are 21% of total loans by billion Saudi riyals in 2020, and by 2030 also they are expected to be at 21% itself, which is the forecast. So 2024 to 2030 is the forecast. So just because there is an upward trend in the graph, it has told you that mortgage loans increase their share from 21 to 21%. So again, you will have to always validate responses that you get from these models. What you can also do is, can you recreate the chart for me? So it can use Python to extract numbers from that image, and it can try to recreate the chart for you. If you click on this drop down, you can see the code. So it is taking some numbers from the chart, and then it is going to recreate the chart for you. It is using the matplotlib library in Python to create the chart. By default, GPT uses Python as its default programming language for any analysis or any visualization. And in a few seconds here, you will see that the chart is created and plotted. Again, I'm not sure if the numbers will be absolutely correct, but we're not validating the numbers as of now. But I'm just showing you capabilities in terms of what it can do. And you have two beautiful charts right here, which is this one, and then you have the next one as well, which is this, right? Again, has it made the same chart? No, it's not made the same column charts. It's made an area chart, but I can always ask you to change this as well, right? It has added this legend here, which is beautiful. I can make this interactive. So for example, here in GPT, I can click on this and make it an interactive chart. So it looks like this, which is not very efficient. Not sure what that is happening. So it shows me total billions. And if I come back, make this into an interactive chart. Okay, when I make it into an interactive chart, it can only show me the total loans. It cannot show me the breakup when it is an interactive chart. Right? Again, I can minimize this. I can ask it to change it. I can say, can you make these charts in the style of BCG, and I want stacked column charts. So why I say in the style of BCG is because if I just open a BCG report, it's, it's any one of these. So BCG has this green color in their reports, right? So if I can just open any one of these articles and show you the PDF right here. Okay, so you'll find the green color because that is part of their logo or the brand color. So you'll always see in all their charts, you will see the same green color. Now I don't need to copy the color, go and paste it there. I don't need to do anything else. I just need to tell GPT that adopt the green color, and it can adopt the green color for me. So when I come back to GPT here, it will now try to use those colors. If I can just show you where it is doing it. Okay, so right here, do you see these hex codes? So these are colors that it is adding. Now don't go by this green. Okay, this green is just the text color, it does not mean anything. Okay, that green is just the color, but you will see a similar style being adopted here for the first chart and for the second chart. Is it exactly the same? No, not exactly the same, but yeah, it does something like that. But I asked you to change the chart type because earlier I just specified that, can you recreate the chart for me? So it created these area charts, but I can also come back and say that, can you make these charts in the style of BCG, and I want as stacked column charts, and it can create stacked column charts for you as well. Again, you can always expand this, and the interactivity option is not available here right now. I'm not sure why. Okay, so can I just come back to these charts, right? So I don't have the interactivity option available here, but I get this. Now there are no data labels available on the chart, so I can say that, can you add data labels on the charts, ensure the labels do not overlap, because I'm working with stacked column charts, which is what I had started with originally in the image, right? Which is the chart or the values are stacked on top of each other, overall leading to 100%, showing contribution from each category. When I ask it to add data labels, everything remains same and it'll just add data labels, which is this part of the code. Again, I'm not going to deep dive into the Python code. This we'll be doing in one of the later sessions, but just showing you capability of what ChatGPT can do for you, right? Just showing you the capability. And again, you will see that now it has added data labels as well, right? On each of the chart. Again, now it has added data label for the total, which is total loan. It has not added data labels for each breakup. But then again, if I expand this, and do I have interactivity in this enabled? Let me just see. Okay, so I'm not sure why I'm not getting interactivity here, but then again, not very important, because when you download the chart is not going to be the exact dynamic chart. It's going to be a static chart. So I can click on download and I can put this in my downloads. It gets downloaded as a PNG image. Okay, but GPT can help you with creating charts. Now I have done that by uploading an image and extracting from the image, extracting numbers from the image. You can also upload your Excel file and create charts or do data analysis like this. Now if I were to use this same thing in Claude, you can see that I put the same image in Claude. I just said explain, so it explains this for me. Now in Claude, when I say, can you show me 10 key insights as an infographic with relevant headings and icons? Just see what Claude does. Okay, so first I get an error. Now Claude uses React when it wants to create diagrams or visuals or dashboards or images. Not images, dashboards, charts or designs. Now if I just show you what React is, it's a JavaScript library that helps developers build user interfaces for websites, mobile apps, and desktop apps. So you can create a lot of visual stuff with React. So Claude by default will use 3-4 languages. One of them is React. So the first time it gave me an error. I can go to preview. The second time I said that, can you fix this error for me? And it created this for me, okay? In one single prompt. One single prompt, ready to use infographic from the image that I uploaded with the icons and with a clear title and a clear subtitle. Is this downloadable? No, you cannot download this directly. There is no download button available here. You can take a screenshot, obviously. You can come back. You can see that I have this opened in so I can click on this publish button and I can copy the link and I can share this with someone else. But it just opens up so many avenues. It can do this for you, right? Then what I did was I said that, can you then recreate insights and actionables from that image as a 16 by 9 dashboard, which is a PowerPoint layout, PowerPoint size dashboard. I can click on that. It made an error again. I just clicked and asked it to rectify the error. Then this was the final output. Again, I published this and I can show this to you here as well. Beautiful dashboard in one single prompt from the image that I had uploaded. I can again upload my files. I can upload PDFs. It can extract and give me the responses as well, right? So now this does not exactly recreate from the image, as in does not copy the same chart from the image, because here you can see only 3 years, 2020, 2025 and 2030. But if you look at the original image, or if you look at the ChatGPT output, it has recreated every year, 2020 to 2020, 2030. But Claude is saying that, okay, no, because I've asked you to create a dashboard, it's saying that, let's talk about the evolution rather than each individual year. Right? It uses good colors. I've not specified what colors to use. I've not specified what layout I want. I just said 16 by 9. Within that, it has categorized all of this together. If I come back, right? So this is what Claude can do for you. It can allow you to create diagrams, visuals. Again, Claude can do everything that ChatGPT can do, but the only advantage with Claude is these diagrams and infographics. Again, as we go ahead, we'll be covering more of these in the forms of case studies and examples. And if I can just show you one more, okay, not required. Yeah. So these are the outputs that Claude created for me. I'm just gonna Let's close them for now. And in Gemini, let's say the earlier example which I showed you of what Gemini can do, right? So Gemini can do a quick online research. So for example, if I ask Gemini to give me recent updates in the generative AI landscape, I'm a student wanting to enhance my learning about generative AI. It tells you everything from the internet. It summarizes everything for you in a very concise manner. I can say that I want you to look at only reliable sources like official websites of chat LLMs. So I can just put a few examples like ChatGPT, Anthropic, Gemini. So I can also specify the source. Just because Gemini can search the internet for me does not mean the source will always be something that I want. So I can also specify my sources, that I want reliable sources, and what new things are happening in these tools right now. So it tells me what new tools are what new things are happening. Gemini 2.0 is something that Google is releasing. I can click on this drop down and look at the source. Click on this drop down, look at the source. So Google is integrating Gemini into its various products. Google emphasizes making AI accessible, etc., etc., etc. It also tells me where I can find more updates. I can look at official websites. I can look at research publications, API documentation, or follow social media accounts for more announcements. So Gemini can do this. Gemini can also help you with like Excel formulas. So for example, if I ask Gemini, so sometimes you're not very sure what the tool can do for you. So when you just ask the model, so I've just put this question, what all can you do for me in the context of data analysis? So it tells me it can summarize and explore data, clean data for me, transform data, give me descriptive analysis, inferential analysis, which is draw conclusions, do predictive modeling for me, do clustering, etc. It can explain concepts to me, suggest visualizations, generate reports. It then tells me a few sample prompts that I can use. Again, not the best quality prompts, but like suggested prompts for starting out with Gemini. What it cannot do, it can't directly execute code. I rely on the information you provide. I cannot provide financial or medical advice. Is my analysis is for informational purpose only, right? So if you're not sure what the model can do for you, whether it is ChatGPT, whether it is Claude, whether it is Gemini, just ask the model, right? And the model will help you identify what it can do for you. Then, right now, I have the paid version of Gemini, but on the free version also, you can do the same thing. You can write the same prompt. If you were to come to, let's say, Perplexity, Perplexity is a different tool altogether, mostly for online research itself. So, for example, if I ask for what are the new features released in some popular generative AI chat LLMs. When I say chat LLMs means large language models, right? So I just asked it what new features have been released, and it is telling me that there is something called as AI agents, multimodality, cost efficiency, enhanced conversational AI. So what this basically does is whatever question you asked, it'll go on the internet, look at all the relevant websites where it can find information, summarize that over here, and then tell you how or where it has arrived at that point from. You can also click on the sources button to look at all the sources. Now, again, all the sources might not be very reliable, right? But you can specify if you want a specific source, or you can also ask it more questions, or you can decide to exclude a particular source as well. You can click on this small button here and you can choose different levels of models. If you want pro research, deep research, reasoning with R1, or reasoning with O3 mini. Remember, Perplexity does not have its own model, so it uses DeepSeek's model, OpenAI's model, and deep research is from Gemini. So if I choose deep research and I put in the same question and I come back and enter, you will see a much different response. because deep research will go to 20 sources compared to the 10 from earlier. And again, some points might be overlapping, but just the number of sources that it went to is quite larger or more than what the normal or default search feature, which is the auto feature, that. So you can, depending on what you're trying to find, how much information you're trying to collect, you can utilize different tools for that, right? And the same thing you can do with DeepSeek as well. Notebook LM, on the other hand, is more for analyzing or summarizing information from your sources. So when you come to try Notebook LM, you get this home page which looks like this. You can create notebooks. So here we don't have chats, we call these notebooks. You can always create a new notebook. When you create a new notebook, it'll ask you what sources should the notebook have. So you can click on this add source button and you can apply or add a bunch of sources, PDFs, text files, markdowns. You can connect Google Docs, Google Slides, because remember, this is a Google product. So you've already logged in using your Google Gmail account. So you can connect your Google Drive, you can connect or put website links, you can put YouTube links as well, and you can paste text as well. Since I'm on the paid version, I get 300 sources. On the free version, you will get 50 sources. Even 50 sources is quite a lot. So I'm not going to start an example from scratch here. I'm just going to show you one that I have already created here, which is, let's say, this one. So I uploaded three PDFs, the Bharat Petroleum Annual Report, the Hindustan Petroleum Annual Report, and the Indian Oil Annual Report for the last year. And I put this YouTube link of the budget speech by Nirmala Sitharaman, which was posted on Money Control. And I put some put this Economic Times article as well. So just the sheer fact that you can have different sources of information coming into a single platform, and then having all these sources of information summarized for you right here, and then go ahead and ask a question. So right now it shows me 5 sources, as you can see here. If I uncheck one of the aspects or one of the sources, it will show me 4 sources, which means that the response that it generates for me will be from the selected sources. So I don't need to refer to all the sources that I've added. I can decide to uncheck a few of these, and it will only give me a response depending on what question I ask from the 3 checked sources. I'm going to just check all of them for now. Now, a lot of times you might not know what to start asking. So you can always use these default initial prompt suggestions to just understand what information is available in the documents, right? So I'm going to use this one. What taxation and financial reporting strategies to BPCL, HPCL, and Indian Oil reports reveal? So it's going to tell me that all of these have different taxation and financial strategies. I can always click on this source button and it'll take me to the source from which part of the report it has extracted that, right? I can ask more specific questions. I have some default prompts here, which is I can create a study guide, which is nothing but a Q&A. So it'll generate like short answer and long format, short format and long format questions for you. Then you can have a briefing doc for all the sources. You can create FAQs, which is frequently asked questions, and you can also create a timeline. So when I click on this, it creates like a study guide, okay, of what information is available here. It creates a quiz. That's what a study guide essentially is. The best part is it creates this audio podcast from all the 5 sources, a 30-minute podcast.
Welcome in, everybody. We're diving into Indian energy today. Always a fascinating area. It really is, and we've got some great material to work with for this one. Yeah, you send over those annual reports for BPCL, HPCL. Yep, HPCL and IOCL. That's right, 3 of the biggest players in Indian energy. Absolutely gives us a chance to really see what they're up to. 3.31 million metric tons. Seriously. And they're not slowing down?
This is a conversation between 2 AI generated voices, very natural, discussing everything that is there inside all these sources, how the sources are related to each other in 13 minutes. Just imagine the amount of time you save doing something like this. Right? So that's what Notebook LM can do for you. Again, This was the first session, just a high level overview of what each tool can do for you. In the coming weeks, once I do the sessions with my batch of students, I'll be uploading those recaps as well. The coming sessions will have more case study based formats. This was all for this video. Um, I hope you got a good sense or at least a high level overview of what each tool can help you with or what the tool is capable of doing. As we move ahead, I'll be covering more examples, more case studies. Every Saturday or every weekend, I'll be uploading a new video for the next 10 weeks. Thank you for watching so far.